There will be a new Mid-American Conference women's basketball champ. Fifth-seeded Central Michigan and their fabulous freshmen knocked out defending champ Bowling Green to get to this year's title game. They face MAC Player of the Year Tavalyn James and her Eastern Michigan Eagles looking to avenge last year's title game loss. One of these two will go dancing in the upcoming NCAA Tournament. The MAC Women's Championship, presented by State Farm, starts right now, right here on Sports Time Ohio. Quicken Loans Arena on a championship Saturday, getting set for its first all-Michigan MAC Women's Championship game in the history of Quicken Loans. This afternoon, the fifth-seeded Chippewas of Central Michigan take on the two-seeded Eagles of Eastern Michigan. Take a look at the brackets leading up to today's championship game. Cinderella is at number 5. They've won 3 games in 3 days. Can they make it 4? The two-seeded Eagles back in the championship game for a second consecutive year, coming off an emotional come-from-behind win over Toledo yesterday. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the MAC Women's Championship game presented by State Farm here on Sports Time Ohio. Mike Cairns along with Jackie Winden. Jackie, for the second consecutive year, it's 2 versus 5 in the Women's Championship game. What do you see as the quick keys leading into this game today?
Well, for Eastern Michigan, it's got to be the sense that we've been here before. Now we've got to respond after coming up short last year. For Central Michigan, 4th game in just as many days with the new tournament format. We'll see how fatigue plays a factor.
Take a look at our key players this afternoon, beginning with Central, led by one of their fabulous freshmen. She's had back-to-back double-doubles in this tournament and has been a beast, Crystal Bradford.
She's grown up in front of our eyes here over the past few days. So many dimensions to her game, scoring, rebounding, her length. But what's been most impressive is her ability to distribute the basketball and get other players involved.
For Eastern, everything runs through the MAC Player of the Year, Tavalyn James.
And we saw it all yesterday as she turned the tide for them in the last minute and a half of the game as they catapulted to the win. She can score from anywhere on the floor, and it looks like she might go off here today.
For the second year in a row, it's 2 versus 5 for a trip to the NCAA Tournament. Will it be Cinderella? Will it be the experience? Central, Eastern, the tip is coming up next here on Sports Time Ohio. Mid-American Conference Basketball is brought to you by State Farm. Get to a better state, State Farm. By the AT&T Yellow Pages, more ways to search, more ways to find the real Yellow Pages. YP.com and YP Mobile, only from AT&T. By Marathon, fueling the American spirit. And by Giant Eagle. Today, Eastern Michigan is looking to avenge their loss last year to Bowling Green in the MAC Championship game. Tavalyn James scored 19 points for the 5th-seeded Eagles. But a spectacular behind-the-back pass from senior Tracy Pontius to senior Lauren Prohaska helped seal the Falcons' 51-46 win and their 11th MAC tournament title. Welcome into Quicken Loans Arena on a championship Saturday as we get ready to punch somebody's ticket to the NCAA Tournament between Central and Eastern. Take a look at today's starting lineups, brought to you by Giant Eagle. We mentioned those fabulous freshmen, Jasmine Bracey, Jessica Green, part of that all-freshman squad for head coach Sue Guevara. With a win here today, would pick up number 200 in her career. And for Eastern, Paige Redditt will have her hands full with those freshmen down on the blocks for head coach Anne-Marie Gilbert in her 5th season as she's guided the Eagles to back-to-back championship appearances. Today's tip brought to you by Conrad's, Jasmine Bracey, Paige Redditt in the circle. And we are underway. The tap controlled by Taylor Johnson. Today's tip brought to you by Conrad's. Take the Conrad's Challenge. We beat any price or double the difference back. That's our lowest price policy. There's a look at today's officials. One of the best in all of women's college basketball. Barb Smith, Brian Enterline, and Jesse Dickerson. Johnson, who got off to hot starts in each of the last 2 games, and she gets it going again here.
Yeah, found a great little seam there against the 2-3 zone. That mid-range jump shot got it to go early.
Desiree Thomas at the point for the Eagles. You'll see a lot of zone here this afternoon between these 2 squads. Nice drive by Watkins. The former Brush High School star puts it up and in, and we're tied early.
Mr. Michigan looking to even extend the floor here a little bit. And you have to kind of wonder if the thought behind that is knowing that they've played 4 games in 4 days, we extend the pressure a little bit and force them to work that much harder early. Just wear them down over the course of the game.
Gracie in traffic, battled with Foudy. James and Taylor Johnson go to the floor. Possession arrow favors Eastern Michigan. We'll keep an eye on that central bench as there's a look at Coach Sue Guevara. She's in her first MAC title game since '91. They've won 7 in a row and trying to punch their ticket to the big dance for the first time in 28 years. We'll keep an eye on the bench. Crystal Bradford, who we spoke about in the open, is the 6th man, so to speak, off the bench for Sue Guevara. We'll see how long it takes before she gets in. Good ball movement. This is Watkins again.
She's in the zone, and it's carried over from yesterday as well. Just great flow to her. Pull-up jump shot, no problem. Knocks it down.
Jessica Green, a little show and go. Brandy Baker with the rebound. Green trying to work around Watkins. Wide open look for Bracy underneath.
Great distribution of the basketball there by Green, attacking the baseline, and no weak side help there for the easy lane for Bracy.
Both of these squads split the regular season, and the key in each of the team's victories were turnovers. Back in January, Eastern beat Central and caused 25 Central turnovers. Just a couple of weeks ago, Central returned the favor and caused 27 turnovers in their win. That obviously is a key we've seen, especially with the way Eastern and Central have played defense here throughout the tournament.
Both programs take tremendous pride in the defensive end of the floor, and they're aggressive, they're active, and they've got hands everywhere. Certainly will be a factor today.
We've already had 2 jump balls. When that thing hits the floor, it's all hands on deck, and that's going the other way. There's a look at Anne-Marie Gilbert as she's guided the Eagles to their 2nd consecutive MAC title game. Looking to head to the big dance for the first time in 8 years, back in '04. She has just done a wonderful job turning around the Eastern program. Great crowd on hand for both sides, who traveled well for the championship game and our first all-Michigan final here in Cleveland since the games have come to the gun slash, I guess you could all the way go back to Public Hall. James on the run out with a right hand and couldn't get it to go. Well, we talk about the new format and how this plays out. Look at the minutes played on the road to the MAC title. You have both ends of the argument represented here today, Jackie.
Eastern Michigan, though, deserved it, and that's what the format was set up for. What do you do in the regular season to earn yourself some rest headed into the tournament? But talking to Anne-Marie Gilbert, she wasn't a big fan of the rest, as she adamantly spoke about yesterday, and just said, you know, we want to keep playing. And we'll see how that plays out here over the next 36 minutes.
A rare miss from the #1 free throw tosser in the league, and Tab James, she splits the pair. Eastern up early. Johnson lines up a 3, bullseye. Boy, Taylor Johnson has really gotten off to great starts.
I was going to say, and she's just been real even-keeled. I really like the pace at which she's playing at the offensive end. She's not trying to force it at all. She just stepped into that shot calmly and delivered.
Redditt will have her work cut out for her, battling with Bracy this afternoon. She beat her with the left hand, but Bracy comes up with the rebound. Baker lobs it inside. And Gracie turns it over. We've got our first timeout, 15:44 left to go. The two players who have gotten off to hot starts in each of the last two games, Natasha Watkins for Eastern Michigan and Taylor Johnson for Central. They're up by 2. Welcome back to Quicken Loans. Great start for both squads. Central up by 2. Time now to dial it up with AT&T Yellow Pages. More ways to search, more ways to find the real Yellow Pages. YP.com and YP Mobile, only from AT&T. Take a look at Central Michigan, who's come in and won 7 straight, averaging 70 points a game, giving up about 56 for an average of 13.5 for the margin of victory. That is 10 points better than their regular season margin. And you see 5 wins have been by 10 points or more. They get it done in the tournament, Jackie, speaks for itself.
And they figured it out. I mean, we saw them early, or late in the year, rather, at Ball State, where, to be honest, they were kind of at rock bottom and really regrouped, got things simple on the defensive end by just going to that zone, and they found continuity and flow and are reaping the rewards of it.
Natasha Watkins has 6 to lead all scorers. That's half of her regular season average. Taylor Johnson turns it over. That's the 3rd turnover for Eastern. Tied up at 7 here early. 3 ties, 2 lead changes already here through the first 5 minutes of regulation in the first half. Nine on the shot clock. Thomas. This is Watkins. And a whistle away from the ball. Call her for traveling.
A little aggressive when she caught that. I think shot clock winding down, tried to rush it, and just one too many steps.
Bowdy comes up with a steal. James ahead of the pack.
Defense creating offense. No surprise there for Eastern Michigan, and there's no surprise that Tavlin James is going to go to the rim and finish.
Eastern leads the league in steals, 13 a game.
Their hands are just so active. They really get out. You know, sometimes you hear 2-3 zone and you think passive and sit back, but Eastern Michigan just so aggressive. You see hands flying out. Good ball movement there by Central Michigan. Randy Baker on the scoreboard.
Rainbow 3 for Baker gives Central the lead again.
And a good sign. She looked good round 1 here. Made some jump shots, struggled a little bit yesterday, but connects there for Central Michigan.
And that's what Tavlin James can do. Player of the year in the conference, leading scorer in the conference, and probably one of the best open floor creators in the league.
Yeah, the best defense on Tavlin James is just not to let the ball get into her hands, because once it's there, she's got so many dynamics to her game and so many ways at which she can get to the rim, and she's just lethal and dangerous at the offensive end. Again, good ball movement. They overloaded. You can see Central overloading there. 4 bodies on the right side of the floor. And long skip pass, and Brady Baker all alone knocks it down.
Kylie Welch setting up the offense. 8 on the shot clock off the kickball. Johnson underneath, powers it in. She's got 7.
Same story for Central Michigan. Taylor Johnson out early, taking some of that pressure off that trio of freshmen, and helps give Central the early lead.
Big back and forth between both of these squads who have shot well to start. Foudy draws the foul from Taylor Johnson. Foudy, a sophomore from Toledo.
Yeah, good sweeping move here. Bracy comes out a little bit high, as opposed to low and feet ready, and Foudy does a nice job of getting by her. And Taylor Johnson late, called for the foul.
See the shiner above that left eye, courtesy of Lucretia Smith right there.
And that was just a good hard play. Both players battling hard and foul.
I talked to her before the game today, and I said it didn't look as bad. It looked like it hurt. She said, when I woke up this morning, it was very, very puffy, to the point where it was almost closed. It needed some ice to get it down.
A little ice. That's something to be proud of, though, as you come to this juncture of the game, right? A little battle scar for her.
Sophomore Toledo's a tough one. Watkins splits the pair. Redditt's there for the cleanup.
And that's Paige Redditt at her best, is just kind of staying active around the glass as her teammates attack the rim. And if you don't have a body on her, there's a good chance she's going to explode and come down with it.
A little daylight. Eastern up by 3. Gracie working on Redditt. Got it to go.
Yeah, good drop set. Paige Redditt just unable to handle the physicalness of her. And Gracie with a turnaround little flip off the glass and in. She's got great touch. These freshmen for Central Michigan are certainly not looking like freshmen.
Well, with 8 minutes gone by, Crystal Bradford has checked in for Sue Guevara. And quickly taps it out of bounds. It'll be Eastern's ball. Got a timeout on the floor. We've played 8 minutes in this MAC Women's Championship game. Eastern showing why they're #1 in the league in steals. They're up by 1. And welcome back. Eastern on top of Central with 11:59 left to go in this MAC Women's Championship game. Time now to dial it up again with AT&T Yellow Pages. More ways to search, more ways to find. The real Yellow Pages, YP.com and YP Mobile, only from AT&T. And we focus in on Eastern, and they're all MAC selections. Tavelin, James, Redditt, and Watkins, but have a feeling Watkins will be moved up to that first team in the coming years, as they have a lot of high expectations for her, along with the Player of the Year, Tavelin James, who comes in just 14 points shy of moving up to second all-time in scoring in the conference. And she's well on her way here today, Jackie.
Now already five points offensively for her, and I don't think there's any question she's going to come away with 14 total for the game.
Jessica Green came up with a steal, but going back the other way was Desiree Thomas. She said, hang on. Nikki DiGiulio comes in off the timeout for Sue Guevara. So DiGiulio and Bradford in along with Gracie, Baker, and Green. Anne-Marie Gilbert sticks with her starting lineup. 3-ball from the wing for James. Follows up her own rebound for the stick back.
Stays with it on the offensive end, and that's no news flash. Crystal Bradford got caught there not boxing out, and Tavelin James made her pay.
7 points for James here early. 17-14 Eastern. Great look, Crystal Bradford. We saw both of the freshmen working well all tournament long.
And their poise is what's, I think, most impressive when you talk about freshmen being in this situation, but they're real calm on the offensive end, allowing the offense to work for them. And great job from Green to Bradford there, finding the seams, and Bradford knocks it down.
Thomas a step inside the 3-point line. Big rebound by Foudy, couldn't get it to go. Bradford redirected that shot and then get the rebound. Bradford and Gracie look like they've played together for a long time. 3-ball from the wing, misses. Natasha Watkins is double teamed in the corner, but got it to Desiree Thomas. Thomas pushing the offense, had Foudy, but knocked away by Green. Here's Bradford back the other way. Traveled with the ball, a little give and go. The 6th turnover for Central this afternoon. First Energy, proud to be the title sponsor of the 2012 MAC Basketball Tournament. First Energy, our energy working for you. Halfway through the opening half of the MAC Women's Championship game from Quicken Loans Arena. Mike Aarons along with Jackie Winden in an all-Michigan final this year. James lines up a 3. We saw how quickly Cavalin James can work her way into the offense at the tail end of yesterday's game against Toledo. And you look at where she is on the all-time career points leaders in the conference, and she's 6 away from tying 7 from moving in.
We've had a lot of fun watching her over the years. Just unlike anybody else in the conference, when you talk about explosion. See Crystal Bradford there in the slice, and Foudy ties her up.
Amber Bogart has checked in for Olivia Foudy. First substitution of the afternoon for Emery Gilbert. Watkins puts the ball on the floor. Gracie takes it away. The lefty for 3 off the back iron. Jessica Green comes up with a rebound, tries to get back inside. Paige Redditt comes down with a miss. James looking to create and drew the foul.
Saw a lot of bodies crashing the offensive glass there for Central Michigan, and that's great if you come down with it, but if not, just allows Eastern Michigan to kind of unleash in the open floor, which is what they do best. A little bit surprised to see Central sending that many bodies to the offensive glass.
James, the #1 charity shooter in the league, heads to the line. 86%. She knocks it down, and one of the differences as you play different teams throughout the tournament, Cavalin James has had much more space earlier in this game than she did yesterday against Toledo.
You kind of pick your poison with her, you know. She's so good at attacking the glass. She's had some games where she's really shot it well from behind the arc, but just 31% on the year. So if you're gonna have her, put her into a position at which she's not at maybe her very best, it would be tempting her into that long-range jump shot.
Watkins, big rebound by Bradford. Good look inside to Green, couldn't get it to go, but Gracie came down with a rebound and battled with Desiree Thomas. Thomas will get called for the foul. Again, Central loves to push the tempo, and Eastern has no problem with the match.
Did a nice job getting out in transition there. Green slashing cut. Paige Redditt was ready for her, and Gracie did a nice job of coming down with the offensive rebound.
Both teams at 5 team fouls here in the opening half. Green from the wing for 3. Redditt came up with a rebound, tossed it to Thomas as she was falling out of bounds. Thomas goes to the basket through the foul. Great look off by Desiree Thomas to create that shot there.
Intelligent basketball play by this young lady. You're going to see her just kind of set it up a little bit, slows, change of tempo, turns the corner. You can't teach it any better than that. I think so many times when you talk to players, you tell them, you know, go out there and play hard. They think that means you have to go 100 miles an hour the whole time. And Desiree Thomas does a nice job there of a little change of pace, setting defense up, and I guess to take a deep breath, get to the free throw line.
Taylor Johnson checks in for Jessica Green. Thomas misses both of them, 75% free throw shooter. 19-16, 8 minutes left to go in the opening half. Central and Eastern split the regular season. The winner heading to the big show, the NCAA Tournament. Another turnover for Central. Watkins, 4-on-1, got it in.
Great defensive pressure. It started the possession. Watkins goes from one end to the other as DeJulio kind of leaned towards Cavalin James, and you can't blame her for that, but Watkins delivers.
Watkins and James have 17 of Eastern's 21. Rainbow 3 for Bradford is good.
Yeah, it's a big bucket too for Central, as they were struggling a little bit, getting a good look at the basket or getting a shot to fall, and we talked about it being a little bit of a game of runs, and that's a big bucket for Central to slow down Eastern just a little bit.
Watkins faces up but couldn't get it to go. Gracie comes down with another rebound. DiGiulio. That side has been perfect. Baker, DiGiulio, Bradford, all with three-pointers from that left wing. And a timeout on the floor for Eastern Michigan. Just like that, Central has regained the lead. It's been that type of first half.
It comes down to just the ability to make shots. Good little inside-out action here. Taylor Johnson finds Bradford on the baseline for the 15-footer, and then Bradford finds DiGiulio wide open. And as we know, she doesn't need much time to set her feet and knock that down.
Career number 118 on the three-point list for Nikki DiGiulio, was 5th all-time at Central Michigan. We'll take a look at their three-point shooting and where they stand in the MAC at number 7. We've already had 8 lead changes and 4 ties here through almost 14 minutes of play.
It's living up to the hype. Championship basketball.
Central playing their 4th game in as many days in this new tournament format. James, the lob to Redditt. Great look.
Great pass. She threw it where only Paige Redditt could go up and get it, and threw a bounce pass there. It allows defense to catch it, but threw it right up there where she was able to just catch and off the glass and in.
The lead was short-lived. Make that the 9th lead change at 23-22. Johnson tried to get a 3 to go. It rolled off. Big rebound. Bradford back inside. Couldn't get it to go. Foudy and Johnson collide, and Bradford winds up with the basketball. DiGiulio for 3 off the back rim. Central just crashing the boards on this possession, but finally lost the handle. Tavelin James comes flying towards us as she collides with Baker. We've got a timeout on the floor. 6:03 left to go. It has been a fast and furious pace in this first half. 23-22, Eastern on top. Welcome back to Quicken Loans Arena on a championship Saturday. 9 lead changes already here. Eastern on top, 23-22. Indians opening day is selling out quickly, so now is the time to purchase season tickets for the upcoming season. Full season plans include free Terrace Club membership, free suite rental, free club seat test drive for a game, interest-free payment plans, and of course a ticket for opening day. Plus tickets in the Time Warner Cable bleachers are once again only $9 for season ticket holders. Get your tickets at Indians.com, the team shops, the Ticketmaster, or by phone, 1-866-48-TRIBE. Mike Aarons, Jackie Winden. MAC Women's Championship game from Quicken Loans Arena. An all-Michigan final. Foudy in the right place at the right time. Got her own rebound and put it back up and in.
Yeah, great job of sticking with it. I think just kind of turned around there on the weak side. Look what I have. Sometimes you look back and say that's the way the ball needs to bounce on a day like today.
Both teams have shot the ball very well here in the opening half. Eastern up by 3, but it has been tight the whole way. Johnson tried to save that one before stepping out of bounds.
Thomas. Right place, right time. You're right on that one, partner. She did a great job of staying with it, though. Thought he had a great game yesterday on the glass and picks up where she left off.
Central with 11 turnovers already here in the first half. And remember, mentioned both of the teams had split the regular season, and turnovers in the 20s were the key. James for 3. Tasha Watkins has had an outstanding first half. Comes down with a rebound. She's done a little bit of everything. Desiree Thomas going to reset the offense.
Watkins has really, I think, developed and grown in that role of knowing Tavelin James has drawn so much attention that just allows her to kind of not sit in the shadows, but just get comfortable without much pressure on her.
Nikki DiGiulio came down with the rebound. Paige Redditt picks up her 2nd personal. Team foul number 4.
That'll be a key matchup to stay in on, because we know Central Michigan's presence inside can be felt, and Paige Redditt, certainly the best defender on the Eastern Michigan side to be able to handle them.
Taylor Johnson's got 9. She's 4 for 5 from the floor here early. Nice look inside. Redditt goes strong over Bradford.
That was textbook. Did a great job of using her upper body and shoulders to shield off her defender. Good base. Caught it with her left hand, right over left shoulder and in.
Baker was left wide open, but James closed, pulled up along the baseline and got it to go. And I think that's what a lot of people expected out of Brandy Baker.
The ability to make shots. She's had some good looks at it, but did a nice job there of one dribble, pull up and delivering.
Watkins got inside, but fouled by Bradford. Taylor Johnson blocked James out on the wing, but Bradford comes up with the foul. We'll go to a timeout. 3:39 left to go. It has been a great first half. The winner moving on to the big dance, the NCAA Tournament. 27-26, Eastern on top. Welcome back to Quicken Loans Arena. 27-26 Eastern on top. And Mac Fans, State Farm, and Positively Cleveland teaming up to offer you the chance to win an all-expenses-paid trip to Cleveland for next year's MAC basketball tournament. You can experience the tournament in the city of Cleveland in style with a hotel, dining, VIP suite tickets, MAC gear, and some spending cash. Log on to sfmidamerica.com for details and registration information. Get to a better state. State Farm. Well, this is what you want to see in a championship game with a spot in the NCAA tournament on the line. Both teams offensively are shooting about as well as you can expect for two teams that really rely on defense to create some offense.
And both teams just poised. They're taking good shots, feet set, distributing the basketball, making one extra pass. The difference right now has really been turnovers. Central Michigan has 11 of them, which has resulted in 11 Eastern Michigan points, and there again another lazy turnover and an easy two for Eastern.
Thomas to Redditt. Largest lead of the afternoon. It's 5-31-26. See how Central can respond in this final 3.5 minutes of the opening half. Bradford. That left hand has been lethal.
You can't teach it. I mean, it's her athleticism and feel. I mean, great spin move there going to her left, which she's just so good at. You know Paige Redditt's going to be just a little bit tentative already with 2 fouls.
James, good.
I think she just decided I'll shoot a little deeper. Maybe that'll help.
Not a great three-point shooter, but in the flow, she's as good as it gets. Inside, Bradford with that left hand again.
And that's one of the things Sue Guevara talked to us a little bit about. You know, Bradford had played off of her a little bit, and she'll shoot the 3, but she is at her best attacking the rim, and that's what she wants to see her do more of.
She's got that length and athleticism. As Thomas misfires on a 3, and Bradford comes down with another rebound. 9 points, 4 rebounds for Crystal Bradford. Johnson for 3 is good. Double fours has been really impressive in the first half of some of these basketball games.
And again, that one was 2 or 3 feet behind the line. I mean, we are seeing some, and we've seen it all week, but some deep long balls that these girls are connecting on.
1-point game. Both teams packed into that 2-3 zone. This is Watkins. What a first half. Banks open on a Sunday in downtown Cleveland.
High arcing, which she had to do. Brandy Baker did a nice job of going straight up to alter the shot, and I don't think Watkins cared too much.
Bradford in and out. Redditt with the rebound. Watkins has 12, which is her season average for Eastern. Redditt takes it up off the floor and puts it up and in. Back up to a 5-point lead for Eastern.
Yeah, Paige Redditt does a great job of staying with the play. Central Michigan got a deflection, but playing until the possession's over, and Paige Redditt headed the free throw line for a 3-point play.
Taylor Johnson getting called for the foul. It's her second personal, so she heads to the bench where Sue Guevara has her ear. Redditt to the line. The senior from Kansas City off the front of the rim. And Jasmine Bracey says, that's mine. Here's a look at Taylor and Coach Guevara. DeJulio. That was deep and nearly down. James tried to keep it alive. It'll stay with Central. 54 seconds left to go. DeJulio will take it out.
See if Central Michigan tries to go right at Paige Redditt here. Again, 2 fouls under a minute to play, and she's still on the floor.
DeJulio from the same spot. Watkins comes down with the rebound. What a first half for Natasha Watkins. In her hometown, playing for a MAC championship. Family and friends in the arena, and the former Brush Stars had a great first half. Bowdy.
Great high-low. Great high-low action there by Eastern Michigan. Foudy flashing from the weak side. And Paige Redditt does a nice job then of sealing over the top and headed back to the free throw line.
That's 2 on Crystal Bradford, so Jordan LeDuc gets up off the bench to come in and spell her for the final 23 seconds. And Paige Redditt heads to the line. And she knocks it down. Redditt, 62% free throw shooter. Both Redditt and James setting a school record today, playing in their 127th career game. One better than Cassie Schrock, who set the record in the championship game last year. And congratulations to both of those players playing their final game for Eastern Michigan. If they can get through today, they'll add one more to their season. Biggest lead of the afternoon, timeout on the floor with 16 seconds left to go, a 7-point lead.
And Paige Redditt's out to a tremendous start, but let's see. I think they're going to leave her in, but with 2 fouls, we'll be interested to see if Central Michigan comes back out of this timeout going right at her.
We talked a little about Natasha Watkins, the former Brush High School star, 13 All-MAC. She had 19 points in the semifinal win, and she is off to a great start with 12 here in the opening half.
Yeah, great flow to her. We saw her attacking the baseline, that time just stepping up, knocking it down, and kiss off the glass there for an easy 2. And just does a nice job of playing within rhythm of their offense. Everybody knows Tavlin James has option number 1, and Watkins is doing a nice job of delivering.
You talked to Anne-Marie Gilbert about Watkins, and she talked, as great as Tavlin James is, keep your eyes and ears on Natasha Watkins, because she could be ready to step in line next.
And certainly, I mean, you know, players want to play, and I'm sure that Watkins appears has done just a great job of learning from Tavlin James and knows that her time is coming.
Skylar Miller with 2.5 seconds left, got it to go, and James is going to let the clock run out. And Eastern is happy with a 5-point lead. Been a great first half, both teams shooting better than 50%, which is what you want out of a championship game. It's an all-Michigan final here in Cleveland. Both teams have tied it up and eyed it up, and Eastern Michigan is up by 5. The commissioner is coming up next. Welcome into the State Farm halftime report. Get to a better state. State Farm, an all-Michigan final for the first time since the MAC tournament has come to Cleveland. It has been a good one. Eastern on top of Central, 40-35. The commissioner, John Steinbrecher, joins us here courtside. And new tournament format, commish, this year. And we have 2 teams that are in this championship game that come from both sides of the argument to this format. You have Central, who's won 3 games in 3 days, trying to make it 4. You have Eastern, who came in as one of the top 2 seeds with a double bye, and both of them vying for a championship. They make their own arguments for what you did when you redirected this tournament this year?
Well, we changed the format, and for folks at home who may not know, is we introduced a double bye into it and added, if you're in seeds 5 through 12, you're going to have to win an extra game to get all the way to the finals. For top 2 seeds, you had a bye into the semifinals. Seeds 3 and 4, you had a bye into the quarters, which is what we've done previously. You know, we wanted to put more importance on the regular season, and we wanted to, in essence, reward the top teams for how they did, and it positions them in a certain place within their tournament. Doesn't mean that we're not going to have upsets. I'm not sure that you'd call the 4-5 game that we had an upset, quite frankly. I guess by a seed it was, but they're two teams that, you know, were pretty evenly matched anyway. And coming down the stretch here the last couple weeks of the season, Central's been as good a team as we've had in this league. In fact, I think if we go back to the start of the season, you probably would have said Eastern had a good chance to be here, Bowling Green, Toledo. I think we also would have said Central Michigan. They've gone through some growing pains and come out the other side of it a lot stronger team. We'll see how this ends up.
And the same plays true for the men's bracket as well, as you kind of go through that. And I think as we catapult then into the postseason for the women, we're looking at more teams into the WNIT as well.
Absolutely, and you know, Toledo's defending WNIT champs, and you know, they'll inevitably be back in there. I'll be curious to see how they go, but I expect we'll have 3, 4, 5 teams in postseason play, which will be wonderful. I think it speaks to the depth we're building in this league in terms of the quality of our women's basketball. You know, it starts with really good coaches and coaching staffs, and then recruiting and bringing in and developing some really fine young ladies who are tremendous student athletes and fascinating basketball players.
Talk a little bit about the championship game coming up, and from the women's side alone, I've heard a lot of people throughout say this has by far been the best women's tournament and just the way the games have played out. But talk a little about the men's side going into the matchup tonight, because we've had some wild finishes. Again, maybe a little bit of a surprise, but Ohio is also another hot team coming down the stretch along with Buffalo, so it's kind of ironic that one of those two had to eliminate the other.
Well, exactly, and I believe Ohio swept Buffalo this season anyway. I mean, so again, I don't know what you call that an upset. There's a bunch of, you could take any of those top 4 seeds and pull them out of a bag, and you get what you get. You know, on the men's side, 10 of the past 12 years, our championship final on the men's side has been decided by 6 or fewer points. We've had overtime the past 2 years. Heck, that won't surprise me again. You look at all the games in the tournament, men's and women, you know, very, very few of them haven't been much more than 3, 4, 5 points. Generally been one possession game, so that's what you want in this kind of atmosphere.
There's a look at our MAC schedule brought to you by Marathon and our Marathon matchup. DJ Cooper trying to take the Bobcats one step further, and of course Nick Satinovich trying to take Akron back to the dance for a second consecutive year. That will be a great championship matchup here tonight from Quicken Loans Arena. Commissioner, always good to catch up with you. Thank you again for having us once again. Great tournament once again this year, and the MAC is going to be well represented after today.
Hey, thanks to both of you. A great regular season, a great tournament. We really appreciate STL and all of our regional partners, and we look forward to bringing more MAC events to all of our fans.
And an extremely mean jumper right here when I walked into the arena this morning at around 11 o'clock. Guess who's in sweats shooting it up? This guy right here. Thanks for joining us. Commissioner John Steinbrecher, what a great tournament it's been. Halftime highlights and stats from the first half. Coming up when we come back, our State Farm halftime continues from the Q. Welcome back to the State Farm halftime report. 40-35. 9 lead changes we had throughout the first half. Eastern on top of Central in our All-Michigan final here at the Q by 5. Mike Aarons along with Jackie Winden as we take a look at the first half highlights brought to you by State Farm. And it was an interesting first half because the same players that we saw throughout the tournament get off to the good starts, got off for both of the teams here today.
Yeah, had a little bit of mini runs by both teams, as we're going to see. Johnson got things started off early for Central Michigan. Great touch, gets the roll there, and then Watkins found a great rhythm offensively, attacking the baseline for an easy 2, and defense creating offense, fouling the open floor to Tavlin James, who finishes off the glass, and then Central Michigan finding a little bit of a rhythm from outside. Bradford delivered from long range. DiGiulio sets her feet, delivers from long range, and then again, defense creating offense for Eastern Michigan. Nothing new here as Redditt off the glass and in. And then Tavlin James The long-range bomb just 1 point away now from second all-time in the MAC, and really the story of the first half is points off of turnovers. Eastern Michigan 13, which is just easy uncontested looks, and they're up 5.
It's what you want to see in a championship game. Both teams shooting around 50%. Of course, Eastern right on track with the 8 steals. They're number 1 in the league, averaging 12. But turnovers for Central have certainly hurt them. But to be down by 5, you have to like your chances. Our first half stats brought to you by State Farm. Get to a better state, State Farm, and we'll get to the second half when we come back. Eastern up by 5 as we head to the break. Mid-American Conference basketball is brought to you by Conrad's. Take the Conrad's Challenge. We beat any price or double the difference back. That's our lowest price policy. By the Cleveland Clinic Sports Health. All your sports health needs under one roof. By First Energy. Our energy's working for you. And by your Northeast Ohio Buick GMC dealers. It has been a great women's basketball tournament at the Q, and what would be another MAC tournament without the master of tape, Steve Bardo, putting something together for you as we walk back through this tournament leading up to today's championship game. Nobody does it better, and I mean nobody, than Steve Bardo, the master of the tape for sure, as he walked you through the men's and the women's tournament. Because then there were 4, with 2 of them heading to the NCAA tournament by the end of the day today. Right now, the all-Michigan battle is a tight one, a 5-point lead for Eastern, who won the regular season West. And you take a look at the 12th pack of points from Paige Redditt and Watkins on a very hot shooting Eagles team from the first half. Central starts with the basketball, and they go right down to Jessica Green, but Olivia Foudy was there to deny her. And James on the run out the other way. Bradford got a piece, but she's going to get called for the foul, which will be her 3rd. Here with just 14 seconds going by in the second half.
Foudy does a nice job going straight up, and then that starts the Eastern Michigan transition offense. There's Tavlin James streaking down the right side of the floor, and Bradford with just enough body.
And with that bucket there, she ties number 2 all-time scorer in the conference with her 13th point. The next point will send her into number 2 all alone as Eastern creates the turnover, gets the ball back. So not a good start for Central here in the opening minute. Watkins pulls up, and she continues where she led off. She's got 14 to lead all scorers. Eastern slaps the floor for defense as they go after Central, staying in that 2-3 zone. Watkins comes up with the turnover. She came around and knocked the ball off of Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, Central Michigan just a little bit sloppy, a little bit passive and careless with the ball, and right off. Great call there by Barb Smith as that goes right off Taylor Johnson's leg.
Eight-point lead for Eastern, their largest here in the afternoon, 43-35. Just underway second half here from Quicken Loans Arena. Watkins inside. And the sophomore continues to pour in the points.
Great explosion to the glass there in Central Michigan. Fatigue could be a factor here as they just come out with no energy here to start the second half.
A 5-0 run by Eastern Michigan to start the second half. And they have opened up a 10-point lead. We'll take a timeout. 18:48 left to go. The Eagles with a double-digit lead. Welcome back. Central trying to rebound as they're down by 10 here with just a minute gone by in the second half. About 2 years after a deadly earthquake claimed nearly 300,000 lives in Haiti, the Indians' Matt Laporta returns to see how the island nation is recovering. From remote mountain villages to gritty Port-au-Prince streets, you'll get a rare look at this beautiful Caribbean island. Liberty Ford and Grange Insurance bring you STO Cares, a return to Haiti today at 3:30 here on Sports Time Ohio. Central trying to get things going here as they've been outscored by 5 to start the second half, looking for their first points. 7 on the shot clock, 6, Bradford. 3, Baker's gonna have to let it fly. And Paige Redditt couldn't handle the rebound. It'll be Central's basketball. So the Chips get a break. Let's see if they can capitalize.
You can see shot clock winding down. Brandy Baker got a nice shot off. And Paige Redditt just couldn't come down with it. But big possession here for Central Michigan. They need to stop the bleeding, and Gracie delivers.
Right on cue. They took that second chance and delivered. Redditt tried to return the favor down at the other end. Baker comes away with a loose ball.
I talked about it earlier, being a game of runs, and Eastern Michigan came out strong in second half, and Central looking to regroup out of that timeout.
Inside to Bradford. Bradford finds a cutting green.
Good decision. That's the distribution of the basketball that we talked about, which has made Bradford so good. She drew the double team, and Green did a great job of slashing to the rim and finishing.
Bradford with those point guard-like skills.
Yeah, sets up. As soon as she turns the middle, Foudy went for the double team, and nobody weak side. Tavlin James a little late, dropping down to help, and great recognition by Bradford, and great finish by Green.
6-point lead for the Eagles. They turn the ball over here. Central can cut into that lead as Bradford starts up with Baker.
And as soon as you start to get a couple stops and the momentum shifts a little bit, it's amazing how all of a sudden you're not really tired anymore. A little energy now out of Central Michigan.
Johnson looking for some help. Gracie tied up by Natasha Watkins. Ball will stay with Central. But 7 on the shot clock. Nice job by Watkins. She's been very active here today.
They're packing it in a little bit and almost daring Central Michigan to play on the perimeter and beat them from the outside.
Desiree Thomas trying to go up and sky with Bradford, but that's not going to happen. And she got called for the personal, her second. And a fresh clock for the Chippewas. Sue Guevara imploring her team to run it. Baker to Bracy, who comes down the lane. Bradford is there, count it! And the freshman with another 2, and back comes Central within 4.
And that's the gamble you take, is how much Are you going to stay on the offensive glass? Knowing Eastern Michigan wants to get out and run as soon as they have the basketball, but Bradford inside position. Easy putback and chance for one more at free throw line.
12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for the freshman from Detroit. Here comes the senior from Motown, Tavalin James. 7-0 run for Central, and they're right back in it. It's a 3-point game. James with 3 on the shot clock, splits the defense, and gets it to go with the right hand.
What a move. Little zigzag from the top all the way and gets it to finish. To her right. And just like that, she's number 2 all-time in the MAC by herself now.
Off the turnover, Watkins on the run out. Bradford's back, but Watkins banks it in. 18 points for Natasha Watkins.
What a 1-2 punch out of the wings from Eastern Michigan. Tavalin James and Watkins both getting it done in transition.
Baker.
Big bucket. Big bucket again as Eastern Michigan sitting back a little bit and really daring them to shoot it from the outside. That's a big basket for Brandy Baker.
One of her best offensively shooting games we've seen in the tournament. She's got 8, but she's been big from the field. It's her second 3-pointer here this afternoon. James trying to create some space. 10 on the shot clock for Watkins. This is James from the corner, rattled out. Redditt with the rebound. And Green took it away.
It's a great rebound by Redditt, but as soon as she brought the ball down, Central Michigan able to come up with it.
And Bradford draws the foul from Desiree Thomas as we head to the break. Welcome to number 2 on the list, the MAC Player of the Year. Eastern is on top by 4. Welcome back. Michigan on the comeback trail. It was a 5-0 run to start for Eastern, but Central Michigan has stormed back to within 4, 49-45, led by Crystal Bradford and Brandy Baker. 17 assists on 19 baskets. In Central, just like that, when you thought the legs were getting heavy, have turned things around, partner.
We talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast, how fatigue would set in and their ability and how explosive their runs were going to be able to be come this juncture of the game. And great job by Central to kind of answer the call.
Plenty of time left in this one here. Gracie turns the ball over. Redditt was there, and then Johnson on the other end.
Players making plays. There's nothing better than this point of the year when you've got 15 minutes to play, NCAA Tournament berth on the line, and players battling.
10 on the shot clock. Johnson turns and fires short. Dowdy with the rebound. Here comes Watkins. Trying to get around Green, and she did. 20 points for Natasha Watkins.
Why not, right? Quick little right to left crossover. Finishes 8 of 13 from the floor. Outstanding field goal percentage.
Somebody wasn't guarding the back door because Green came right in for 2. (51-47). Redditt. Bradford is there.
That's pure length right there. We talked about her athleticism and her ability to get up and just out elevates and comes down with the rebound.
She throws that one over the head of Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, 15 turnovers now for Central Michigan. And here you see Watkins again in the open floor. Great crossover and little hesitation move, and then out. He gets stuck on the top side of that 2-3 zone. Central made him pay.
15th turnover for Central here this afternoon.
Eastern Michigan has outscored Central 17 to 3 rather off turnovers. And it's a statistic we saw yesterday that really came back to haunt Toledo.
James got blocked by Bradford. Bradford on the run out, calling for the ball. Long distance pass from Johnson. Little jump step, but she traveled. You saw that graphic a couple minutes ago about the minutes played. We knew what they were coming in as we set it up at the top of the show. Obviously, the minutes have changed as we're almost 32 more minutes in to where Central started their run into this championship game.
And like Sue Guevara had talked about yesterday, she said, you know, this is really no difference for us, and it's not going to become an excuse, the fact that we've had to play this many days consecutively. They're a team that normally practices at 12 o'clock anyway, and it's real close to when tip-off is, and they usually practice, you know, 5-6 days a week anyway, so should be nothing new for them, and that certainly wasn't going to be an excuse for them this afternoon.
22 for Natasha Watkins. Baker has a good look at a three, couldn't convert, but Bradford is there for the rebound. Johnson, a step back three, splash down.
Big bucket there, and a great job on Crystal Bradford again, keeping the possession alive. The offensive rebound, Taylor Johnson, step back, drills it.
53-50. Good ball possession there by the Chippewas. Turnover. Green's ahead of the pack. Tried to give it back, faked it, across it in. Bradford wasn't there, Green took it herself.
Great move, baited her to the middle, a little setup move, and spin off the glass. Big time play by the freshman.
53-52. Central with the momentum right now. And Watkins turns the ball over. Timeout on the floor. 11:15 left to go. Natasha Watkins, the former Brush star, having a great time in her hometown. But Taylor Johnson says, hold on. There's a lot of basketball left. Come on back. Pleasure to work with the best crew in the business, and our talent runs deep in that truck. Matt Weber providing the sights and sounds of this championship game. Great job by our guys all the way around. It has been a long week for our crew. Mike Simons, our director throughout the women's tournament, has done an outstanding job. All the guys in the truck. Joe Rainiak, our producer of the championship game. Gary Coach, our stage manager down here. Jeff Gears, our statistician. Tom Boshemick heading that graphics crew. Just an outstanding crew, from the photographers to the operators in the truck, all the way to the guys down here on the sidelines. We appreciate all of the help to bring you the sights and sounds of the MAC championship game. And Jessica Green and the Chippewas keeping it going here. A one-point game and a back-and-forth championship game. 55-54. Central back within one. See if Eastern has the answer. Great dish off for India Hairston, who's come in for the first time here this afternoon. Desiree Thomas, one of the top assist leaders in the MAC, spots her for the two. Bradford down to Green, couldn't get it to go. Good defense by Redditt. Here's James. 1-on-2. And that'll go Central Michigan's way.
33 Brandy Baker.
And visit PositivelyCleveland.com for unexpected surprises. Positively Cleveland, proud sponsor of the Mid-American Conference. Anne-Marie Gilbert and her Eagles up by 3. Central Michigan with the ball. Some pressure by the Eagles. Baker gets out of it. 2-on-3 for Central. She backs it out. Bradford, the big looping three. Rebounded by Skylar Miller.
Great job of staying active on the glass there. Skylar Miller skies up to get it, comes down with it, and powers in for an easy two.
James tried to force that one, couldn't get it to go. Green with Thomas back, puts it up and in. Central's got the lead.
And Central Michigan does it with Eastern Michigan style. Defense creating offense out in the open floor, and great run out by Green for the finish.
9:15 left to go, and the Chippewas have made a run to be back on top. And it's short-lived as Watkins banks it up and in.
Calm, cool, collected. Watkins has certainly been impressive here. The sophomore having an outstanding afternoon. Now 24 points. Really playing within herself and taking what the defense has given her.
She's 4 off of her career high. (59-58). Jalissa Olive in for Central. Green driving hard to the basket, draws the foul. As Sue Guevara has gone to her bench here in the second half. The best bench in the MAC, averaging 25 points a game, as Green came down hard, and it looks like there's some blood spilt on the floor.
Yeah, she's great.
Chin.
Yeah, aggressive take to the rim, but she nailed her chin. As soon as she got up, there was blood everywhere.
So there'll be a timeout here to get that cleaned up, and then the decision for Coach Guevara what to do with the free throws coming. She's attended to over there on the bench.
You just kind of hope at this juncture of the game that they can throw a butterfly Band-Aid or something so that she can come back in. You'd hate to see the need for stitches or something like that that would keep her out of the rest of this basketball game. Because when you get to this point of the year, you want best team against best team, best lineup against best lineup, and you see how it all unfolds. So hopefully she'll be back out here soon.
Taylor Johnson will take the free throws. Green, an all-MAC freshman, part of that fabulous freshman class that Sue Guevara has working with Green, Gracie, and Bradford. The entire starting 5 coming back. Johnson, the sophomore, rolls it in 77% from the free throw line. Had 14 points against Bowling Green yesterday, 2 for 3 from beyond the arc. And a good choice there. She knocks down both of those for their second lead here in the second half. James lost the handle for a moment. Jalissa Olive giving chase, the 6th player of the year in the conference, number 5. Also the smallest player in the MAC.
A little bit more of an aggressive look from Central Michigan out of the zone. Eastern Michigan does a nice job kind of picking it apart. Paige Redditt delivering from the inside.
Redditt getting inside with a strong move there. 61-60. Olive's another player that can score in bunches as Johnson got inside. Eastern comes down with the rebound. Missed opportunity there for Central. Thomas pushes. Watkins looking for some room, 10 on the shot clock. James. It's what 24 does best right there. Creating shots. And she'll be shooting from the free throw line when we come back. Timeout on the floor. 7:27 left to go. Don't go anywhere. This All-Michigan final heading right down to the wire. A 1-point lead. Who will take home that trophy? Time now for our Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Game Summary. It's a 1-point game. Tavalyn James moved into second all-time scoring in the MAC with her 17 points. But Natasha Watkins, home in Cleveland, 24 points on 11 of 16 from the floor. Taylor Johnson has kept it alive for the Chips with 17 points on 6 of 9 shooting from the field. And you look at the minutes played. Central is on pure adrenaline at this point. That's a look at our Cleveland Clinic Sports Health. All your sports health needs under one roof. Number 2 versus number 5 for the second consecutive year here in the MAC Women's Championship game as Tavalyn James heads to the line. A place she doesn't miss from often. 18 points for James on the afternoon. So look at Jessica Green. Band-aid on chin, that's a good sign. Hopefully we'll see her back in the game very soon. Pressure for Eastern now. 3-point edge for Eastern off of the free throws from Tavalyn James. And they create the turnover there as they harass Jalissa Olive into a turnover.
We've seen pressure from Eastern Michigan here. Full court pressure several times over the last couple minutes, and they create what is now 19 turnovers for Central Michigan, and they have a chance to add to their point differential. They're outscoring Central 21-5 off of turnovers. Outstanding stats for Eastern Michigan.
So Jessica Green come back in the basketball game for Coach Sue Guevara. 7 minutes left in the MAC Women's Championship game here from Quicken Loans Arena. Will it be Cinderella or the experience of Eastern? One on the shot clock. James nearly got that one to go down, but got the rebound and got back up inside. The ball knocked out of bounds. It'll be Eastern's basketball. That was set up by the player of the year, who did not quit on her shot.
Gets a contested look off, finishes her own rebound, and we'll look back at this and say she left everything on the floor. Tavalyn James playing hard.
Redditt draws the foul. Skylar Miller, her second, just the team's third here in the second half. Both of these teams have stayed out of foul trouble throughout this basketball game for the most part. A lot of it had to do with the rhythm that both of these teams are on right now. Nobody's stopping in the zone long enough to create a foul unless it's on a break.
And it's the athleticism of both teams offensively. I mean, I think if you look at any two teams in the conference, just in regards to the ability to get to the rim and their athleticism, and they're able to, such body control to get around defenders and get to the rim, as opposed to trying to go through people.
Green saved that. It's Bradford. And she's got Baker, who goes crashing to the floor, along with India Hairston. Baker gets up slow. You got to earn every point from here on out.
That's just it. Good hard foul. Green on the floor again. Keeps the possession alive. Bradford dishes, and we're under 7 to play. You're going to have to earn every point from here on out. That's without question.
Baker drops it in. The junior knocks them both down. 65-62. Central, as they have throughout the tournament, stayed in that zone. Rebound by Bradford.
It's a look Eastern's had a little bit as of late, is a high-low action to Paige Redditt.
Johnson misfires on the three. But Jessica Green ran out of room. I think she still at the back of her mind what happened the last time she hit the floor. As she saw the Powerade buckets coming up on her, she said, you know what? I think this one's out of bounds.
Let's just regroup and go play defense. And a good decision is they're going to get the ball back.
Fight the fights you can fight, right, partner?
That's it. That is it.
Under 6 to go. Central, on the unforced error there, gets it back. Bradford. Gracie gets around. Thomas spots Bradford underneath.
Great unselfish play there by Bracy. Really not a spot-up, face-up shooter from there. And Eastern came running out at her. She made a nice dump pass.
Back to a 1-point difference. Had 13 lead changes in this basketball game. 9 in the first half, 4 here in the second half. 7 on the shot clock. Watkins to Hairston, had it knocked away by Bracy. Johnson came up with it. A chance for Central to take the lead. They've led twice here briefly in the second half. James bothering Johnson. Green lost the basketball. This is Johnson for 3!
She's delivered time and time again throughout the tournament. And Green with the loose ball, scoops it up to her. And Taylor Johnson from long range.
7-0 run.
20 points on the afternoon for her.
4th three-pointer of the afternoon. And Central with their largest lead here in the second half. James with 6 on the shot clock. And Jessica Green got a piece of number 24 as she was going through.
Sue Guevara over there just kind of shaking her head and said, be disciplined. And I think what she's talking about there is keeping her feet. At this point in the game, I know you like to get up and block shots, but stay low and really work on keeping your body between Tavlin James and the rim, because you know that's where she wants to go.
20th point of the afternoon for James, who's 7 of 9 from the line.
Is that all she has?
Her and Watkins have been the offensive output for Eastern. Make that 21 as Livia Foudy checks in. There'll be a 30-second timeout called by Anne-Marie Gilbert as we're tied up for just the 6th time here this afternoon. With 4:05 left to go, you keep wondering when the legs will give out on Central and how many runs do they have left in them and how much does each run take. But they continue to come back just when you think, okay, Eastern had a 10-point lead at one point in this game, Jackie. We're even up with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, back and forth chess match. It's just a matter of making plays, and ball has bounced Central's way a little bit as they've kind of fought some fatigue, but they've responded well, and we're gonna have a great 4-minute finish here.
Here's a look at what the freshman Crystal Bradford has done throughout this tournament. You see 3 double-doubles and nearly a double-double throughout the tournament, 10 and 9 against Ball State, but she has loved playing here at Quicken Loans Arena. That's Bracy. Hurried her shot off the miss. Watkins came down with it. Great pass from Green. James has to pull up. Bradford has 14 and 8 here on the afternoon in her 4th game in this arena. Well, Thomas going to slow things down. 10 on the shot clock. Tied up, 3.5 left to go. Winner going to the NCAA championship game. James leans in, couldn't get it to go. Watkins got the rebound, and she's fouled by Jasmine Bracy. Timeout on the floor. 3:22 left to go. Sue Guevara, Anne-Marie Gilbert, who's moving on to the NCAA tournament. Come on back and find out. Welcome back. Tied up at 67 with 3:22 left to go. Indians baseball returning to Sports Time Ohio this afternoon as the Indians and the San Diego Padres meet up in the Cactus League game from Goodyear. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning bringing you all the action. It's the Indians and the Padres, 4 o'clock here on Sports Time Ohio. 6 ties, 14 lead changes. 3:22 left to go. Natasha Watkins at the line. Comes up just a little bit short.
There's one area at which she could really take her game to the next level. It would be at the free throw line, just a 59% shooter from there, and she has so many positives to her game offensively. She fine-tunes that.
Got 25. 3 off for her career high. 1-point lead. Bradford. Long rebound. Bradford crashed into Bracy.
Almost, yeah, took
and
it from
turned
a
the ball
teammate.
over.
Yeah, a little too aggressive there. Looked like Bracy was going to come down with it.
We'll see if that comes back to haunt him as Green gives chase to James. Thomas, 10 on the shot clock. As Eastern slows things down in their last couple of offensive sets. 3 on the shot clock, 2. And a shot clock violation will turn it over without a shot.
And it's a little surprising to see that pace out of Eastern Michigan, especially knowing the fatigue factor for Central and how Eastern Michigan tends to be most comfortable, and that's playing fast.
Here comes the pressure from Eastern. Good job by Central. 68-67. Johnson for another 3. Foudy with a huge rebound between Bracy and Bradford. Again, Desiree Thomas will walk it across the timeline, looks over to the sideline to Anne-Marie Gilbert. We'll start it a little earlier this time as Foudy makes her way down the lane. Can't get it to go. Baker coming back the other way for Central. Inside, 2 minutes to go. Bradford double teamed, finds Green wide open underneath, puts it back up and in. Central's got the lead.
Great decision by Central Michigan. They're not known for three-point shooting, and they've taken 2 on their last 2 possessions, but Crystal Bradford again, I know we've talked about her offense, or points and rebounds, but assists have been huge.
And a huge turnover right there by Eastern as you take a look at the last basket.
She's hit Green several times there, flashing to that low block, and Central's found success with it. They've got the lead.
Central up by 1. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Johnson inside to Green, couldn't get it to go. And Bradford and Foudy fighting for the rebound underneath along with Bracy. It'll be Eastern's ball. A 2-possession game here with 59 seconds left to go. James with the basketball. And a timeout, 30-second timeout by Anne-Marie Gilbert.
Let's go, here we go.
It all comes down to these last 2 possessions and a trip to the NCAA Tournament. What a finish here at the Q.
No surprise by it either. You knew both teams were going to come out, being aggressive, getting after it at the defensive end, and they have both responded.
Time now for today's First Energy electrifying play of the game. Off the miss, Baker to Green. Today's First Energy electrifying play of the game. First Energy, our energy, working for you. 69, 68, 56 seconds left to go. 16 lead changes, 6 ties, and it all comes down to this for a trip to the NCAA Tournament. 28 years for Central Michigan, 8 years for Eastern, who's back in the finals for the 2nd consecutive year.
There's no question Tavlin James is going to have her hands on the basketball at some point during this shot clock, but don't forget about Watkins. She's had a tremendous afternoon. Central Michigan comes out with a little bit of a different defensive look here. Brandy Baker shadowing Tavlin James wherever she's going.
And James will draw the foul with 6 on the shot clock. Jasmine Bracy called for the foul, her 2nd.
Tavlin James, one of the things that makes her so good is that she is kind of undersized, because against a Central Michigan team that's so big and playing up high, she's able to get low to the ground and get by people.
Is there any doubt who would get the ball down the stretch, Jackie. The MAC Player of the Year.
It was just going to be a matter of if Central was able to face guard her enough not to let her catch it.
#1 free throw shooter in the conference, #1 in scoring, and the Player of the Year. And it all rides on this free throw here with 35 seconds left to go. And she used it all. A 1-point lead for Eastern Michigan and a 30-second timeout for Anne-Marie Gilbert. Tavelin James, we saw what she could do down the stretch yesterday against Toledo. She's got 23, but 10 of those have come from the line, but that's because she's been aggressive on the floor here today.
She is just so active and does a great job of finding seams as she just did here. This crossover all the way to the rim, and just such a knack for finishing. She's got great touch around the rim, and unbelievable year and career that this young lady has had. And she's been a lot of fun to watch.
She will be missed, no doubt about it. Was awarded the Francis Pomeroy Naismith Award, which is given annually to the player 5'8" and under.
And pressure out of Eastern Michigan here, just to slow Central down, force that clock to run before they're able to get a good look at it.
About a 7-second difference between shot clock and game clock. 1-point lead. Johnson, plenty of time. Inside to Bradford. Bradford trying to work with that left hand, and she does.
That's a great place for it, and Bradford makes a tremendous decision. She's been distributing the ball every time she's been double teamed, but got caught one-on-one.
And James turned the ball over off the pressure from Central with 11.4 seconds left to go. And Sugawara wants a timeout. She's going to take a full timeout here with 11 seconds left to go. They're calling the officials over to the table.
Not sure if they're going to be checking how much time should be on the clock. Would be my guess, given the fact that as soon as that ball went in, the clock would stop since we're under a minute, and then on the inbounds and turnovers. So they're probably just trying to figure out if she travels with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
reading
like 11.4.
12.9.
Yeah.
Looked like about a minute and a half ran off. See what they do as they take a look at the replay. But Central, with that pressure,
we'll be putting time back on the clock. And Central Michigan as a team, just a 62% from the free throw line. So even if they get fouled and make both here, it's still just going to be a one-possession game, and they still have some fouls to give.
Yeah, they do. 5 team fouls for Eastern. Crystal Bradford has been lethal with that drop step left hand.
And a great decision. I mean, once she put her head down, she knew she had somebody one-on-one, and Redditt just unable to keep her away from, get the angle to get her to go to the rim, but tremendous at going to her left, and comes up big for Central Michigan.
They've added 2.6 seconds to the clock. Again, one of the best officiating crews you're going to see in all of college basketball. Barb Smith, Brian Enterline, and Jesse Dickerson, the tops in college basketball here for this tournament championship game.
Just been a great game all the way around. Well officiated, 2 teams playing hard, shot the ball well, battling it out here. Still just a 1-point game with 13 seconds to play.
We played almost 40 minutes, Jackie, and both of these teams are almost right at 50%. Shooting the ball. Let's see what happens here. 13 seconds left to go. Eastern Michigan has a foul to give. To get it up top to Bracy. So the next one will be shooting free throws. 12.6 seconds left on the clock.
And this is where the physical size of Central Michigan becomes a factor, because you can just toss it up there where nobody else can get it.
And Watkins will foul Jessica Green, the freshman from Belleville, Michigan, will head to the line, 65% free throw shooter.
And still far from over. Again, she hits both of these. It's still just a 1-possession ball game. You
saw the faces on the benches of both squads. Green misses. Watkins comes down with the rebound. Watkins has Redditt. Redditt for the win and rolled it in. 1 minute, 1.5 seconds left to go. Central with a last chance. Baker, not in time. Eastern is headed to the NCAA Tournament for the first time in 8 years. As the #2 seed will go dancing.
What a finish. And Eastern Michigan does it how Eastern Michigan plays basketball, scoring in the open floor. Paige Redditt, are you kidding me? What a move to the rim.
The senior from Kansas City with the final shot here this afternoon. And Eastern's moving on, 72-71. What a championship game.
Unbelievable, and we're going to see it here as Eastern Michigan celebrating as they should. Came up short last year and answers the call. Paige Redditt gets it to drop.
What a finish. The second MAC Tournament championship. Anne-Marie Gilbert last year was the 5 seed and lost to the 2 seed in Bowling Green. Take a look at the final sequence.
Ball in Watkins' hands, and here we go. Open floor, Paige Redditt does a nice job setting her player up and finishes with the left hand. What a move.
We'll take a timeout, come back with the championship trophy presentation. What a finish for the MAC championship game here at Quicken Loans. Eastern is dancing, 72-71. We're back with the championship trophy presentation. You can't get enough of that scene right there as Eastern Michigan is headed to the NCAA Tournament after an exciting 72-71 win. Their head coach, Anne-Marie Gilbert, joins us now. Unbelievable. What can you say about the resiliency of your crew?
You know, resiliency is the right word, because last year at this time, we were standing over there as good sports watching Bowling Green lift this trophy. We were 5 points away, and I can't say enough about our seniors, Tavalyn James and Paige Redditt, and Natasha Watkins. I'll throw her in there as a matter of fact with those 25 points. But what an awesome team. This is a young team. People don't know we have 2 true seniors, and everyone else is juniors and sophomores, and what they have pulled off in the last 2 years is just unbelievable.
Now you talk about game of runs, and you guys were able to answer the call. Take us through that last play. I mean, we know you're a team that likes to play fast and in the open floor. Any decisions about a timeout, or you just want to let your team go?
You know, I wanted to let my team go, and I tell you what, Paige Redditt came over to the bench and said, Coach, no matter what happens, we got this. And Paige Redditt got this. And as I see on film, she got this. So, I mean, what poise by that senior to want the ball, Natasha Watkins to push it. They didn't even look for a timeout. They didn't look to me at the bench. Who am I? I'm just a coach.
Paige Redditt saved that left-hand spin move for a good
that
time,
left-hand
didn't she?
spin move, and I tell you what, that is a special moment, and that is a special team, and I'm so excited. No team deserves it more. Central Michigan, kudos to them.
We'll let you go. Enjoy it. Congratulations. Best of luck in the tournament. The MAC will be well represented.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Coach.
Anne-Marie Gilbert, and she knows more than anybody. The number 5 seed last year in the very spot where Central was. Watch Bowling Green come away with a 5-point win. Her team, boy, they played hard, they played well in a well-played championship game. We talked about how turnovers factored in to both of the regular season matchups. That wasn't the case, maybe a little bit in the first half, but these 2 teams played lights out.
Tremendous effort by both ball clubs. I mean, you knew something big was at stake with the efforts that were put forth, and you just really have to give credit to Eastern Michigan for pulling it off.
Let's head to center court where the Commissioner John Steinbrecher standing by with the tournament championship trophies.
From Central Michigan, Jasmine Bracey. From Central Michigan, Crystal Bradford. From Eastern Michigan, Natasha Watkins. From Eastern Michigan, Tavlin James. And now announcing the MAC 2012 Tournament MVP. From Eastern Michigan, Tavlin James. Now the Mid-American Conference would like to recognize the players and staff of this year's tournament champions, the Eagles of Eastern Michigan. Student athletes, Amber Bogard. Alexandra Fields. Chelsea Height. Christina Smith. Desiree Thomas. Aisha Collins. India Hairston. Natasha Watkins. Olivia Foudy. Paige Redditt. Raven Nelson. Sarah Stone. Taylor Bird. And Tavlin James. Graduate assistant, Lauren Flom. Student manager, Brandon Jackson. Student manager, Joe Jordan. Student manager, Isaiah Thomas. Head strength and conditioning coach, Claire Wagner. Trainer, Megan Snow. Director of Basketball Operations, Callie Crawford. Assistant coach, Liberty Del Rosario. Assistant coach, Yvette Harris. Associate head coach, LaTanya Tate. Eastern Michigan University Associate Athletics Director, Melody Reifel-Werner. Eastern Michigan University President, Dr. Susan Martin. And the head coach of the Eastern Michigan Eagles, Anne-Marie Gilbert. Ladies and gentlemen, Mid-American Conference Commissioner Dr. John Steinbrecher will now present the MAC Tournament Championship Trophy and automatic bid to the 2012 NCAA Tournament to head coach Anne-Marie Gilbert and the Eastern Michigan Eagles.
'12 MAC Tournament champs, the Eagles of Eastern Michigan, as the confetti falls from the Raptors. It's New Year's Eve here at Quicken Loans Arena, and the Eagles will get ready to march forward in March. Mike Ahrens along with Jackie Winden, 72-71 in one of the best games that we've seen obviously all year long leading up to the championship. Take a look at the final stats in this one, and I don't think you could ask for anything more. Almost 50% shooting for both of these teams for 40 minutes, Jack.
Yeah, they both came to play, and it was shot selection is a big part of that too, of why both teams were able to score at such will. But the bottom line came down to fast break points. Eastern Michigan 14-2, and ironically the last two coming in the open floor as well, and just hats off to Eastern Michigan team that made plays down a stretch.
Well, partner, it has been a great run for us here in year number 2 on Sports Time Ohio. Some final thoughts from you as we wrap up another season, look forward to March and watching Eastern Michigan represent the MAC, as well as maybe 4 or 5 other teams from this conference moving on. It's been a great year, top to bottom, in a very competitive year. There hasn't been that separation that we've seen in years past.
And that's just it. The depth from conference-wide, top to bottom, is just getting so dynamic and so good. And we've seen some tremendous young talent in the league this year. We just saw it out of Central Michigan's Big Three as well, but great things ahead out of this conference. And still for a lot of the teams, I know that went home disappointed from this MAC tournament, but like you said, WNIT bids, Eastern Michigan will be dancing in the tournament, and great things ahead for the conference.
First time in 8 years for Eastern Michigan. They were 2004 MAC champs. They're heading back to the dance here in 2012, and the closest championship game played for the women since 2001. You'd have to go back to an overtime game at then Gund Arena right here before Quicken Loans came to be. It has been a great run. We hope you enjoyed our season of MAC women's basketball here on Sports Time Ohio. Mike Simons was our director here from the arena all season long, all afternoon long here. Joe Rainiak, our producer for today's contest. Gary Coach, our stage manager, Jeff Gears, thank you so much. Our statistician, Aaron Dugan, one of the assistant commissioners here in the MAC on the women's side, for all the information she provided, all the sports information directors that we've dealt with in the conference all season long. Thank all of you guys and gals so much for keeping us up to date. Partner, I look forward to it. We're going to be sitting back in our easy chairs here in March watching our MAC teams hopefully move on.
It's going to be a lot of fun watching Eastern Michigan represent the conference.
72-71 the final. Experience wins out over Cinderella this year. The Eagles are dancing. We hope you'd enjoy our tournament coverage here from everybody, our entire crew. From Quicken Loans Arena, Mike Ahrens, Jackie Winden saying thank you, and we'll see you next year.